So it's Wednesday podcast. It's Podcast Wednesday.
Podcast Wednesday.
It's Podcast Wednesday.
I was thinking it should be you and JP because you're both so comfortable,
Just talking.
and then
Yeah.
we should just have like guest appearances
Oh, is that how it
because
should
you
be?
guys really like riff well
So
together.
here's the way I
It's
see
not
the
a bad
world.
idea, though.
Yeah, I see the world totally opposite to that.
Mhm.
I see it because Jerry and I are so comfortable. Well, by the way, my name is Jerry Pujals, and I'm here with my lovely family, and we've decided that we need a podcast. Why? Haven't figured that out yet, but we're trying to figure out why would anybody want to listen to us. So what do? We sell real estate in the Napa Valley. We're a family real estate team, and we want to keep our buyers, sellers informed and knowing a little bit about who we really are. I think that's really important to let them come into our homes. And beyond that, I also think it might be fun and a good idea for real estate agents across the country to see what makes us different. We're really proud of the fact that last year we were awarded the #1 team of its size for the state of California. Very proud of that, but we don't hang our hat on that. It's not who we are. That doesn't affect what we do for the consumer one way or the other. We just do what we do. So what we thought we'd do is get together, have these weekly podcasts, and let you, the viewer, decide what you'd like to hear more of and what would affect you or benefit you if you're a buyer looking to buy real estate, seller looking to sell real estate, or a real estate agent anywhere who might need some ideas, guidance of what we do, and we're always happy to share. So Sierra was just talking about, by the way, Sierra is my daughter-in-law, who is the one that you're going to find more shy on camera. My son, Jerry, who's not shy at all.
Not even a little.
Not even a little. And Kenny, who I've known since he was probably 7 or 8 years old, he's our back-end person, IT, virtual intelligence. Jerry does more of our social media, photography, some videography, some fun stuff, and now he's running this podcast. And Sierra helps us with buyers, sellers, imaging, design, a lot of things. And the one person that's missing right now is my wife Susan, who we've been working together for about, God, I can't believe I'm saying 12 or 13 years. And I've been selling real estate for about 22 years in the Napa Valley. I've written a couple of books and spoken at over 500 real estate offices around the country, and have had some fun doing that, but always come back to real estate, which is at my core. So what we thought we'd do is let you into our home and sometimes into our office, make our podcast a little bit more mobile and go from place to place. We get to live a pretty cool existence here in the wine country in Napa Valley, and we want to share that with you. So we're going to be looking for your feedback to let us know how it is that you'd like to see this evolve, and we'd like to see it happen. We'd like to see it happen organically rather than forced. Our business happens organically. Our consumer tells us what they need, and we go in that direction. So speaking of consumer, I'm thinking about one client who's had a difficult transaction and a couple of things that have been disappointing. And I'm thinking of Jill, and also thinking of what can we do nice now that we're a little bit getting over the hump on their transaction. What can we do nice for them and their family? Maybe send them out to dinner or something like that, something that says, hey, maybe you can have a little break because the transaction's been a little bit challenging. I didn't want to forget that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
They'd like a steakhouse dinner.
Steak, you think they'd go for a steakhouse? So we can do that.
They raise cattle, so
That's right. They raise cattle.
Horse.
They do raise cattle. but nothing is as fresh as your own, so
Yeah.
it might be tough to beat, so we'll do our best. So going back to we have a baby behind the camera, by the way, which is my 5.5-month-old granddaughter, who, if she does not stop complaining, we'll just bring her in front of the camera so you can see her. But for the meantime, she is in her, what is that thing called?
Mamaroo.
For
She's
moms.
in her Mamaroo.
Mamaroo.
She looks like she looks more like she's sitting on
Think of a hammock that merged with a cyborg, and then you got a
Mamaroo.
Mamaroo. Mhm.
Mamaroo.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Mamaroo looks like she's on a Ferris wheel or on a
Mhm.
carnival ride.
I know.
Intense.
Good stuff.
So, oh, by the way, that's Teddy, the bigger dog. That's Goku. And then Windsor is rolling around with Susan. So we have 3 dogs too, if you needed to know that.
It's very important.
So how do we go? Where do we go from here with this podcast? You were bringing up
We're
some
talking,
good ideas, right?
we kind of mentioned just you started talking about something you were listening to regarding people questing after huge financial success as a means for happiness, and people who've done that and succeeded in the financial success but not in the happiness.
Yeah.
And we kind of went from there into what is it about our team that we are a successful team, and we're the number 1 team of its size in California, and we didn't do that because we were trying to be the wealthiest team or anything of the sort. It was more for the sake of serving our community and doing right by the people in our community without being solely focused on financial gain and more focused on being of service to others.
Well said. Yeah, really well said. And I think that's kind of what we like to see happen with this podcast. Yeah, you might as well grab the baby because she wants cuddles. She wants cuddles. Yeah, I have to agree with that, and I think that's how we're trying to figure it out with this video podcast, is how do we do this in the same fashion, which is, I hate to overuse the word organic just because it's in vogue or hip, or by now I think it's really overplayed, but
Biodynamic.
but we wanna do this in a way that we don't have a goal of having thousands or millions of views. That's not the goal. The goal is just to do something that benefits our audience. Our goal in our business is to do something that benefits our clients, and the rest follows, and whatever level of success comes with it is just a byproduct of who we are and what we do.
Well, that was kind of the basis of the blogs, and the blogs were trying to get information out on how to help the consumer, but it was just kind of a boring way of relaying the information, and that kind of inspired this too. How do we give that information in a way that's interesting and, like you're saying, is organic and natural, because it's valuable. There's a lot of value there.
Yeah, so with that, so what we did is we built our website, and our website, we got super proactive and we just delve in. Kenny had a ton to do with that, and Sierra had a ton to do with that. I think if I have to give the credit to someone, it'd be to the both of you who just really got in there and collaborated and built something that I thought looked amazing and very relevant to the time. But what we find is interesting is that relevant goes away really quick. So you think you're building this website that's going to last you for years and years and years, and you might be building a website that just lasts months.
Yeah, it's always changing.
Yeah. We have examples, and we looked into examples of high producing real estate agents / brokers who are performing at levels that are through the stratosphere, and their websites look like they were built in the 80s before there were computers. I mean, there's just something so archaic, and so there you can clearly see that their focus and their business is elsewhere. It doesn't take away from their success. It is just different. We our style is we like more relevance. We like the consumer and the experience to be a little bit more now, and that's valuable to us. And it's also valuable in the way we represent our clients' properties. We want that to be relevant to the time. So this is kind of what's happening organically now is we've gone from a website that Kenny and Sierra with a support team behind them, and you can feel free to ask questions about who the support team is and what people did to get some of these video blogs. We did blogs and we do articles as well to keep our website relevant on the search engines and get it closer to the first spot or the first page of Google. But in doing that, and we've been doing it for probably about a year now, we found that some of those things were feeling boring, right? They weren't feeling real hip.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I think this is going to take us down a path of maybe these video podcasts might be something that we just create a page for on our website.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I heard the other day that Google owns YouTube.
Mhm.
Is that how that works? Google owns YouTube. So if Google owns YouTube, it's not going to be a bad thing to have these things on YouTube
Definitely.
and post them on our website. So then it brings us closer to the #1 spot. One thing that we know now, since we started doing this, is that we're never going to take Zillow off the #1 spot. We're never going to take Realtor.com or Coldwell Banker, even our own company, off the #1 spot because they create more content organically that we could ever create.
Mm-hmm.
But we can get way up there if we're mindful.
But it's also paid advertising. The reason they're at the very top is because they pay the most, right? It has a lot to do
No.
with
No,
that.
they do both. So companies like that, they do a mixture of advertisement, but they also do organic SEO optimization, and they are #1 without ads. Like if
Without
you didn't even
ads.
have ads, they're still #1.
Yeah, think
Yeah.
about it. I mean, Zillow,
And
all
it's-
of our listings get posted on Zillow.
Yeah.
So the fact that they grab all that content right there just by having
Yeah.
photos and listings and content, they have more content than anybody
Mhm.
because there are more eyes, good, bad, or indifferent, there are more eyes on Zillow than anything, which is part of the reason we pay to be on Zillow is just so we better our chances to be found. So we know that we have to be in some of those platforms if we want to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I think a lot of it too is not just exposing ourselves as a team, it's exposing the properties and doing that service for the sellers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really making sure that we shout it from the rooftops. And that's
Yeah.
something different that I think we do,
Yeah,
is really
So-
try to find any angle in that.
for sure. So what else do we want to talk about? Well, we're riffing a little bit about podcasts and the future of a podcast. Why would anybody, I guess maybe we'll ask the question, why does anybody care to hear what we have to say, I guess? Why does anybody care?